Are you thinking about building a brand new home in Las Vegas or Henderson and kind of curious about the processes like? Today I'm going to walk you through what you can expect on your frame walk, which you'll have when your house is partway completed. Hey everyone, I'm Kristen Thomas with the Thomas Group at Love Local Real Estate, your local Las Vegas and Henderson realtors. Today, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing something a little bit different, a little bit less produced than the videos that we've been putting out. I'm going to take you through a frame walk here of one of my clients' houses in Inspirada in Henderson. Now this is a KB home, but the process and everything that you're going to kind of see is pretty similar throughout all of the builders. So once you sign the contract for your new home, there's a couple steps that are pretty consistent throughout the builders in that process. And one of the really important things that you're gonna have is called your frame walk. And you're gonna see it's exactly what it sounds like. This is just from the frames up, and this is a really good opportunity for you to see what's going on behind the walls, make sure everything, all your upgrades and options that you selected are put into the home properly, and just give you a little sneak peek, a little bit of education throughout the process. Now, really quick before you get into it, if you guys haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. We put out videos, multiple videos every week on everything to do with Las Vegas and Henderson real estate. And if you do get some value out of this, give us a thumbs up. All right, let's get to it. All right, you guys, here we are in beautiful Inspirada at the KB Groves Townhomes. There's a couple things that might be different than like a single family home if you're doing that for a frame walk, and I'll kind of try and point that out throughout the way. Generally, they're all pretty similar. Often you will have the superintendent who's in charge of, everyone in the construction side do it, which is really nice. And then some builders like KB has like a customer service specialist do it as well. So it kind of just depends on your builder. So we are actually currently in the garage, and a couple of things that I wanted to point out here. This is your main water on and off valve here. And this is just going to be for the whole house. A lot of the new builders, most of them, if you do have outside irrigation, there'll be a separate smaller one here for your outside irrigation, which is really nice if you're going on vacation and you want to turn off the water to your house, but obviously not your plants die. You have a separate handle there for your irrigation system. Now, because this is a townhome, there's an irrigation system outside set up, so we don't have that in here. Now let's have a look over here. This is the plumbing for the hot water, tankless hot water heater. And we're seeing, I would say the majority of the builders put these in the homes now. It's not instant hot water. It takes about 90 seconds. But the nice thing is once you have hot water, it's unlimited hot water. Steve and I have one of these in our house now, and I absolutely love it. Let me actually show you on the outside what the vent looks like, because I wondered for ages what this weird telescope was on the outside of our house. Oh, you can't see it here. Oh yeah, okay. We're gonna go under this. Don't tell anyone. And that is the vent for your hot water heater. There's your electrical box. Now, when you are going into your frame walkthrough, you are going to want to bring all the upgrades and options that you selected, specifically all of your electrical, obviously any plumbing, any structural things. Some builders will give this to you on like a floor plan basically, and some you're just going to have a list. And if you are unable to come to your frame walkthrough, that's definitely the benefit of having an agent on your side. I'd say probably about half of our clients are not able to attend their frame walks. So we do this all the time for them. We go in, some builders let you film, some don't. Some will just film after because the people don't want to be on video, but we make sure we check everything for you and get what we can on film. Now, these big plywood sheets here are extra support. So most of the house here is built just on concrete. I believe it's 4-inch concrete foundation. These go all the way up through the second floor into the ground. There's like special giant hooks that go down from here down into the ground. and that's secured with cement. So this is providing extra stability, obviously, for your property. And this might look a little bit different if you were buying a single family home. Let us look in here. So what do you guys think this is? This is the laundry room. Now you'll see throughout the property this piping here. This is a plastic piping. This is what the builders are using nobody uses copper anymore, except for in a couple situations where it is needed. It's too expensive to be using throughout the house. And the nice thing about the plastic plumbing line here is that it's super flexible. You know, they can bend it, they can move it around, whereas copper, you know, any turns, any angles that you need to make, you need special fittings. So you can imagine how that would get expensive. In addition to the actual copper, that would get expensive very quickly. So in the laundry room here, I didn't actually mention outside where your main water on-off plumbing is out there. If you decide to buy a soft water loop, which I highly recommend. The water here is very hard. I know when Steve and I were buying a new property, I was insistent on getting that soft water loop put in. He couldn't understand the cost, and now he loves the soft water that we have. So recommend doing it. That would be out there by your main water line. And then just so you know, in here is where that water softener is going to regenerate. So the plumber that installs that water system for you is going to set it usually around like 2, 3 a.m. So you'll hear me say this, and then what's gonna happen is it'll be the middle of the night one night, maybe a few months after you moved in, and you hear something going on downstairs and you freak out. You go downstairs, it sounds like there's like a huge leak or something. Start freaking out. Just remember what I told you now. This is actually your water softener regenerating, and it does it through the laundry line here. So don't freak out. I know that I've been guilty of that myself. It can be a little bit shocking hearing that water rushing, but it's totally normal. On the side here, we have your electrical panel. For all of this is for all of your smart home stuff. It's all gonna go in there. And one other thing I wanted to point out in here, because they build these homes so tight, there's no air leaking out anywhere. They put in a whole home ventilation system, and there'll be a fan in here that KB recommends that you run all the time. I think they said it costs about 54 cents to run a month, and all that's going to do is circulate the air throughout the house. Otherwise, it's going to remain stagnant. Just to keep things fresh, unless you're coming in and out of the house a lot. Definitely want to keep that on, and I'll show you upstairs where that also vents through. So one last thing in here. See this orange thing with the green here? This is your sprinkler system. And if you buy in Henderson, lucky you get a sprinkler system installed in your house. It's required by Henderson City Code, which is pretty cool. So often if you're buying a resale and you see little circular plastic plugs in the ceiling, that is the sprinkler system in there. One more thing down here is, let's talk about GFI. So as long as you're not in a super historical house, you probably have GFIs in your current house. So those are going to be installed in any of the wet areas, and there's often one that is wired for multiple outlets. So the one that is really important to keep in mind is actually in the garage, because this one is attached to your garage door as well. So sometimes your garage door might go out and you're freaking out. How much is it going to cost to get a new garage door? Just remember that you have a GFI unit that goes to the entire garage. You might have plugged a refrigerator in or some other kind of appliance and triggered it. So check that first before you call the garage door company. Your black piping up here is your sewage, and in this property, the sewage line, it's going to drain out there. So that is nice. In the middle townhomes, it is actually on a wall, when you come in from the garage, so you have to be careful not to, even in your laundry room, if you want to put up a picture, be careful not to stick a nail in it. So, you don't want any sewage leaking out. Here's an example of something that you'd want to check. This client paid for an upgrade for this Smurf tube for their TV so that, we can hide the cords here. All that sort of stuff you want to make note of on your frame walk. So let's have a little look upstairs. All right, so this is the master bedroom. And this is the master bath, can you tell? What's really interesting is you'll see that all the bathtubs and showers are installed. The reason they're installed is they need to pass what's called rough inspections. So at a certain point in the building process, one of the inspections that needs to be done is to check everything's draining and working appropriately. So it's installed weirdly early. You look at the rest of the property, but if anything is cracked or anything damaged, the builders obviously fix it or replace as needed before you would move in. All right, now moving on to the rest of the bathroom. One interesting thing that I wanted to point out in here is that your sprinkler system needs to be continuously flushed out. So the way that KB does it is the sprinkler system is going to run in here to your toilet and provide the water for your toilet. So that's being flushed out appropriately, which I think is a really clever way of doing it. So again, if you hear some water running through there, that's what that is. I think that's really clever. And again, you'll see here's where they use the copper piping just at key points in the house. So this is they just have a shower here, but they'd also use it if you had a diverter, like a combo tub shower. Now, remember when I was telling you about the whole house ventilation system? In any of the rooms, you'll see these grates above the doors here. And that is to help the air circulate. Sometimes at home, maybe your AC will kick on as well and it will make your door slam shut. This is just to provide the airflow through the top here. Now for the master bedroom, they give you a little bit more privacy, and this here shoots up and over and ends in the master bedroom, which is pretty cool. So that you get a little privacy in there, Something else that I wanted to point out is up here. So in most of the builders, it really depends, but generally they will maybe give you this in the master bedroom and downstairs in the living room. Not all of them will, but this is the wiring for a ceiling fan or a light. And it's Vegas. I would definitely recommend paying while your house is being built to have this installed, honestly, in every room, even if you don't install a ceiling fan or even a light right away, because it's obviously a lot easier to do now than to have an electrician do it later. So that's something to make note of as well if you are doing your frame walk. Now, if you don't install one of these and you're going to be using just like a plug-in light, the good thing is in that all the bedrooms, like living room, you're gonna have what's called a half hawk, which is a switch on the wall, and then one of your outlets in the room will be upside down. So normally it looks like a smiley face or a face with like two eyes and a mouth. It'll be upside down, so one hole on the top and two holes on the bottom, and that is going to be activated by the switch on the wall. So you can plug in a wall light and activate it by that switch, but it's kind of annoying because if you go to bed, you turn off that light, then the next time you go to flip the switch, it's off. So here we have the secondary bedrooms, and what I wanted to point out in here, I believe it's above this window, I'm not sure, but you'll usually have it above one of your windows, is your air conditioning condensation line, your secondary air conditioning condensation line. So generally on the outside of your home, or possibly it might be on the inside of your home and draining through your laundry drain, will be your primary AC condensation line. And what all that is that when your AC unit is running, the cool generates condensation and it runs out of that. Now, if that gets backed up, it's going to get backed up into the secondary condensation line. And that, as opposed to the primary one, you're going to see dripping from the outside, or like I said, potentially you won't see it dripping at all. The secondary one is your uh-oh, this is bad, need to call someone right now. That one they usually will install above a window so you can't miss it. So if you happen to see, it's the middle of the desert, hot day, you happen to see water dripping down outside your window, make the phone call and get someone out ASAP because something's blocked and going wrong. I think that is it. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you got some value out of this. Just as a reminder, if you are buying new construction, it costs you nothing to be represented by an independent agent, AKA yours truly. Otherwise, you actually sign a form saying that you're working with the builder's rep, but the builder's rep does not represent you. They have the builder's best interest at heart. So please reach out to us. We offer free consultations at thethomasgrouplv.com, and we would love to help. And with that, I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.